Welcome back to The Watch. Just so you know, by clicking on this video, you're contractually obligated to like and subscribe.
In fact, even though you might not have been aware of it beforehand, your ability to use YouTube entirely might be completely revoked unless you sign up to our new terms of service and become a member. In fact, instead of just calling memberships, we call it the Night Station Network Membership.
That's what it's called.
That's what it's called. That would be a bit scummy, though, wouldn't it be? If we sold someone a product,
Yes.
and then changed the ability for people to access it after the fact, and then even forced them to abide by a new terms of service by a company they don't like.
Yes, and then got it banned in 109 countries.
You might have figured out what we're talking about. The title might have given it away as well. But for those who didn't see the title, I'm sure you guys are seeing the double entendre,
Yes.
talent we're showing here.
Welcome, blind people.
So, Helldivers, what a dumpster fire, yet victory. But is it the victory that we think it is?
I'll take any victory I can get at this point.
I know. The thing is, though, I would hope they're learning from their mistakes. I don't think they are. I think what they are learning from is that we just need to roll it out differently to try and achieve the exact same thing that we were trying to. We just stuffed up the...
Really? What makes you think that?
I'll share a tweet that I think summarizes it nicely.
Okay.
But let's backtrack a bit and give people some of the history of what's been going on, if you've missed it, and then share some of our final thoughts and overviews of it. So, Helldivers.
Yes.
Fun game, I hear.
It is honestly a fantastic game. It is a fantastic game. I can't express that enough. You won't like it because it has guns. They haven't added the sword yet. They will.
I like guns.
Okay, well then you'll love
This
it.
gun phobia.
I thought you hated guns. I thought you were a liberal. I'm kidding. No, but it has capes.
I own more gun-like objects than you.
Debatable.
Oz hasn't told me something.
I own more finger guns because I'm a mutant. So yeah, it's a great game, a fantastic game. It plays amazingly,
and it looked like it was on gamers' side. Like there was a couple of moments when they did the right thing. Like when people were trying to politicize it, put certain flags in the game, they just said no flags, just no flags.
Yes, the dev studio is basically John Lennon at the end of his career. But yeah, no flags. No.
Hang on, I wasn't referencing him. I was referencing the soup Nazi from Seinfeld.
Oh, okay.
No soup for you.
You understand my John Lennon reference, though?
No.
Imagine there were no countries.
Okay.
It's a John Lennon song.
Yeah, it's much funnier when you explain it.
So John Lennon was a man married to Yoko Ono.
They looked like they were doing some good things, okay? Then there was just there were warning signs, specifically from the community managers. Just,
Oh, yeah. Bloody hell.
Like-
They're out of control.
like, the community managers seems that, cause there was that community manager that came out that Helldivers isn't, right wing, it's left wing, and these people don't understand. Like, it revealed that, they have some really woke community managers that have also been banning people for stupid things. That was a warning sign. And then big update came, which just threw so many games and said, by the way, if you want to keep playing Helldivers, you need to have a PlayStation Network account. Sony PlayStation, and if you don't, you can't play the game. And there was outrage. Because before, that was an option. So effectively, they were saying, we meant to do this from the beginning, and this is just part of the normal standard thing. But the thing is, though, there was no mention that this was coming to the people who purchased the game. In fact, that made a lot of people who purchased the game feel cheated, because if some might have known that this was going to be a enforced stipulation, they wouldn't have purchased it.
Yeah.
Were you one of those gamers?
I was one of those gamers. However, I didn't stop playing until I saw, and I didn't request a refund and leave a negative review until I saw that everyone else was doing it, and I want to be one of the team.
Okay, you were just
Peer pressure.
sheep.
when
You
all
do
the
like
sheep, when all the sheep are so sexy, I'm going to try and blend in.
And only blend in.
Oh, I'm trying. Sorry, I'm going to try and get in. Is what I should have said.
He's New Zealand.
I'm New Zealand.
Yeah.
My head's the size of the North Island.
All right,
Anyway.
so no, there was a lot of people saying, look, I'm completely out. And for some big reasons, right? Sony is a dog crap company.
Yeah. Well, I am going to have to disagree, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, because I reckon if they, the fact that they're like, you know what, fair enough, everyone hates it. It's more practical, makes business sense to not do this. Instead of doing the asshole thing that Western... Can I say asshole?
Yes.
Instead of doing the scumbag, asshole, douchebag thing that Western companies do, and like they double down out of spite, it seems.
But that, like, it would have been perfectly in line with Sony's playbook to do it. I don't think they've learned anything from... Maybe that'll be that later discussion. But the reason why a lot of people were annoyed is because Sony has done some really scummy things. And enough for me as a consumer to basically try and boycott the brand. Like I intentionally bought the Xbox, not the PlayStation in the new generation, because I don't want to support Sony. Sony has a track record of doing things that I feel are particularly anti-consumer. Some of the legacy things that have pissed me off is their purposeful avoidance of backwards compatibility in their consoles. All right? So then that would force consumers to buy games they already had for the new generation.
Yeah.
Particularly scummy, especially when the hardware is capable of playing the old discs, but they're purposely withholding the software to do it.
Do you know why most people buy PlayStation consoles?
Why?
Because they hate fun.
But another thing that really pissed me off with Sony, purposely basically nuking the ability to have mods on games on Sony.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, because they were greedy and they were saying, you know, you got to pay us a certain amount, all this stuff. Like, there was just really dumb things that they were doing, where Xbox was like, yeah, backwards compatibility, yeah, mods. And then also, the Xbox Game Pass thing is insanely good quality. All right?
Mine keeps being reactivated and they won't turn it off. I don't want it.
Which for the Xbox one?
Xbox Game Pass. I'm like, guys, stop. I've contacted them like 5 times. They won't turn it off.
Are they charging you money?
Yes. $20 a month. It won't. Anyway.
They just don't like you. But overall, Sony has been... And then, more recently, Sony were the driving ones trying to put in the bizarre, bonkers censorship for Stellar Blade.
Oh, that's the worst thing they've done.
Worst thing?
Look, if you need to, you know, just be an absolute douchebag to boost your thingo numbers, that's fine. But the second you block our cock, we have a real problem.
Especially Oz.
Especially me, because it is responsible for the majority of my thinking.
So as hard as that was for Oz to get past.
Yes, it was very hard. Talking about Stellar Blade. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's get off the titty subject. Titties are a touchy subject for me.
Sony sucks. And then, when people found out that they would have to have a PlayStation Network account, right? They don't have a good track record of protecting people's data.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. Even, like, there was one more recently, Oz. Like, in the last year or two.
What was it?
Just another data breach.
Oh, okay.
Like, Sony sucks for that. Also, their terms of service are far more draconian. And so, this is when people heard, like, hang on, you're telling me I'm going to have to abide by Sony's terms of service by linking this, which is the clear implication. And Sony has even seeded ideas of potentially having an AI program monitor in-game chat to make sure nothing problematic is said.
And they want your bloody biometrics. They've got a biometric tracking system for players. Have you heard about that one?
I think I've heard someone mention it.
It's for, like, I'm pretty sure it's for the VR headset, where it, like, monitors your bio sign, some Star Trek Borg bullcrap. Look, I'm only half present when I'm listening to the news.
Yeah. I get that.
The other half of my screen is Stellar Blade.
I thought that was just you normally.
Can we get off the subject of how retarded I am and back onto the subject?
It's hard to avoid.
It is. It's like a retarded child on the freeway. Anyway, just Just take one for the team.
I disavow Oz. So, people were pissed off about this, right? And rightly so. Then, something crazy, it got even worse, okay? For Sony in particular, check out these review scores. This is Helldivers reviews on Steam.
I'm a little part of that right there.
You contributed. You're part.
I'm doing my part.
You are.
It's the salute. You know the Helldivers salute is... And then you, Sony. Excuse my language. Damn it, sorry, Nathan.
You know, that one.
My bad. Sorry, Nathan.
Gamers were letting developers know. So much so that it seemed like the people making it were, okay, maybe hearing... The thing is, though, the community managers weren't. One community manager even said that they're happy with the change, but because with Sony's terms of service and being able to enforce it, that would give them the ability to ban more people. More problematic people. And it's like, holy crap, you need to get rid of these community managers.
Yep.
Like, look at this one from Grums. Community manager lead for Helldivers 2 is happy she can ban more people now. Look, as someone who has dealt with massive banning in World of Warcraft versus gold farmers and cheats, I can tell you this. The reason is bullcrap. You do not need a PlayStation Network to ban more effectively. But this is what the community manager is saying. Well, we always knew this day would get here, and it's going about as well as I expected. Now, again, that is apocalypse. They always knew, which meant they didn't tell their consumers that this was on its way. It's like that is such a horrible PR thing to slip, right? If you were like the game dev, fire this lady, because that is really bad. She's saying you knew from the day one that this had to happen and you didn't tell your consumers, which legitimately would have stopped people buying the game. Like, whoa. I'm actually happy for us to be able to take action against player reports and make the game safer across the board, personally. Which means I'm happy that I can just ban more people that are problematic.
You know, the majority of community managers actually end up getting banned from the gene pool.
I wasn't paying attention.
The majority of community managers end up getting banned from the gene pool. They're the surest candidates for dying alone. Mm-hmm. Right next to furries and me.
So the community manager's like, you guys just get rid of them wholesale. Someone on Twitter named Savvy Artist says this, and it's the same sentiment as I was mentioning before. I do not understand this at all. Helldivers 2. If it was always meant to be mandatory to connect to a PlayStation Network to PC account, but it was broken, which is why there was a temporary skip button, why was the game sold everywhere? Because what happened next, Oz? The game, Helldivers, got restricted in companies where the PlayStation Network feature, or you couldn't make an account in those countries. And those were countries where Helldivers 2 was being sold. But if it was always meant to be a feature, why was it sold in those countries? And then, when it got banned in those countries, right, people just who bought the game, screwed. They just now have lost. Are they going to get a refund? Probably not. Just F you for them. Right? But this was bizarre.
Why is PlayStation Network not working in Antarctica? Come on, of all places.
Well, I mean, there might be people in Antarctica. There are. I mean, there's some stations of scientific research and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, Sony delists Helldivers purchase from 177 countries.
I said 109 at the beginning, I think.
Well, you're a retard. So.
Yes.
I guess now the message is clear. Sony would rather remove the game access from these countries than backtrack on the mandatory PSN accounts. This is the reason why I think they've caved. Okay.
There is also another possibility that community manager was lying. They are scum, remember?
Yeah, they are. But I think this could actually expose them to legal action.
Yeah.
And Helldivers seems like their balls were just in the hands of Sony because they were bound by either a contractual stipulation. It was their fault for not being upfront that this was baked into the deal that they have with Sony, because Sony is distributor or something like the publisher, whatever. That they have a deal with Sony, and it's Sony's call. But the fact that now Sony is forcing it out of the countries, preventing people to purchase it, that could open up to a certain legal action, especially if they admit that they knew this was beforehand or something like that. That's why I think they've caved, not because they're hearing gamers. Sony's track record, they have not earned the grace for me to think that, they're turning over a new leaf, Oz.
Oh, they're certainly not turning over a new leaf. But the fact that they reversed the thing without too much complaint.
What do you mean too much? There was orders of magnitude.
No, from themselves.
Okay.
From Sony themselves, yeah.
But there was huge complaints.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was awesome. I loved that.
Oh, gamers rise up. And look, this is the thing. Even with companies that are so unwilling to learn, the positive thing we can take from this is that the consumers have the power. Gamers have the power, right? And your voice will be heard, especially with those negative reviews, okay? Make it, and I heard that the Helldivers Discord was just apocalyptic with the complaints, like, well done, brothers. And so, yes, consumers have the power.
So you're just like, hello, fellow Helldivers. Yeah.
And so there has been celebration online with this. It is PlayStation. The account says, Helldivers fans, we've heard your feedback on Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6 update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network accounts linking for new players and for current players beginning 30, will not be moving forward. We're still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support for Helldivers. It's like, that's very corporate speak to them trying to cover their ass, I reckon. Yep.
And Sony, a Japanese company, no one expected them to perform this sneak attack of requiring a PSN account, against the entire world. It
was almost a suicidal attack, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
One might even call it.
They almost crashed and burned.
They almost did, yeah.
Yeah. Banzai!
So, this is a Gamer's Nexus reply to it, which I think is actually quite, on point. He paraphrases, interpreting, you might say, that PlayStation statement. We're still learning how far we can push the line. We will reconvene in the boardroom on Monday to devise a draconian plan to push past the line slower so that it is less noticeable next time.
And as a gamer, I just ask that they have the respect to do that. Make it so. Just make it so I don't notice.
No,
if I don't notice, I'm being
bad.
If I don't notice I'm being oppressed, I might as well not be oppressed.
No, Oz, that's just as bad. You're still being oppressed. Don't let them get away with it. You need to pay attention.
Brave new world, I say. No.
See, that's what I think this is something that they will absolutely try and do in the future, because it's a corporate decision that will get PlayStation more, influence and money. If they have people signing up to the PlayStation Network, they're just... Because if they could have done this on day one release, PlayStation would have pushed it. Had to have done something else, and they were saying it wasn't ready, or the infrastructure or something, right? So that's why I think Sony has not learnt a thing from this. They're doing it, in my opinion, to cover their ass.
Probably.
And it's a bit of both. Then it's has Sony learnt? Not really yet. I think they were afraid from the backlash that they could be open to certain legal, recourses.
Probably class action.
Even that, potentially. And so they kind of learnt to be afraid, which is a good thing. Like, for companies to be afraid of their consumers, yes. But, because gamers do have the influence and power, yet I don't think it's the overall universal win where Sony is now just going to... We like gamers, help out gamers wherever, give them good services and protect their data and all that.
The review bomb was successful, and if history has taught us anything, if you want the Japanese to surrender, bomb them.
I disavow Oz, remember. Everything he says, as well as him as a person, an individual.
My being.
Yes, just Oz. I disavow Oz. Night's Watch, and you should too.
You know what? The UN has.
Yes. Buy the Disavow Oz t-shirt. We need to make that shirt.
We got to do it. I'll do it. I'll make it.
So, the community manager that was like saying, it gives me power to ban more people. She says, can people stop telling me to kill myself now? Now, of course, people telling you to kill yourself, bad. We disavow. It's wrong. Don't use it to deflect away from your own bad behavior, though, and that you're a crappy community manager. And Hypnotic calls her out on this. They say, you openly attacked gamers. Literally. You celebrated gamers being angry because you were excited you would be able to ban people easier that you personally didn't like. You're an ideology-driven psychopath tourist in the gaming scene. While it is not okay for people to wish death on you, absolutely agreed, I would almost guarantee in the privacy of your community-managed Discord, you probably wish the death of a few gamers yourself, given your track record. Oof. Ooh. Maybe not death, but they complain, and people like this just hate gamers entirely.
Yeah.
And so that's where we are at. The whole Helldivers thing has been a really interesting journey. Hopefully the game developers, Helldivers, will have learned from this. I don't think Sony has, but if they will learn, well, maybe you might want to get community managers that don't hate your customers.
Absolutely, because any more bad publicity around this would basically be, for Sony, it'd be seppuku.
Self-inflicted destruction.
It was well planned, this whole thing, right? So it'd be like a ritualistic suicide. Yeah. It's very dishonorable of them.
So are you gonna? Did you actually get a refund?
I requested it.
Yeah.
And then the news came through that we won it, and I cancelled it.
Okay, so you're back on board.
I'm back on board.
I might be I see a lot of warning signs. There's half on, side of gamers, the developers of Helldivers, and then they have those things. I was this close to buying it and giving it a go, and this whole Sony crap happened, and I was like, it's dead to me, not even. Man, now I'm reconsidering, but still, I want to see some better track records. It does look like a fun game.
Just play it for 2 hours, and if you don't like it, get a refund.
We actually have strong refund protections in Australia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you see what the CEO said? So if you go to you've seen the graph that shows the negative reviews?
Yeah.
So in Help, you see they've got capes, right? They've all got different designs on them in the game. They're gonna add the graph of it like dropping down in the orange as a thing. The CEO said we're gonna add this as a cape, which is awesome.
See, like that. There are moves like that make me like them, and they kind of get it.
Yeah.
Like the CEO saying, when Helldivers first came out, don't buy the game until we have server capacity. I don't want you to buy it, not be able to play it. That's that was a win.
Yep.
Again, them saying that we're not removing friendly fire because it's funny. Like that's a win.
Yeah.
They're like, that's what I mean. They do some real, and again, of course, saying no flags, no trans flags.
No what?
No flags.
Oh, you said flags. I missed the L for a second there.
Flags.
Hey, they might say that in a future update.
They could possibly say that. They said no flags, trans flags, any flags, just no flags. No flags.
Imagine there were no flags. It's easy if you try. Anyway.
I am holding back on the joke I was about to say. So
don't kill my John Lennon joke.
We will keep an eye on the future developments of Helldivers and the gaming industry, because that's what we do here. Stay on watch.